de Playa, or the Museum de Arte, Puerto Rico.
Yes.
I think.
It's a beautiful space.
It is a wonderful space.
I got to go watch the
about
exhibits in addition to the conference. It's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing. They put together a event, I think, that is showcasing not only the Metaverse, that's the Metaverso conference that we're at, not only the Metaverse and the NFTs, but also Puerto Rico and San Juan.
Yeah.
And
what's happening here.
What's happening here, the natural beauty. I don't know if you got a chance to go outside yet.
I didn't. I walked through the front doors and was just blown away.
Right? So. Yeah, very cool. So I have with me here, of course, Jay Moore. He's co-founder of Persaga, persaga.com. You've heard us talk a lot about that. A lot of exciting things going on there. He is a gaming NFT, IOT legend. Has been around for a long time. A lot of you guys probably know him. I know I have for a few years. So as you see things progress here in the Metaverse space, you know, how have you seen that progress? I think you were telling me you were talking about the Metaverse
a few years ago. Yeah. I mean, and it was up on stage in 2008 talking about paid to play, and now it's play to earn, whatever.
Earn to play or play to earn.
Play to earn, yeah. The key is you're giving consumers ownership of their entertainment. And when they have autonomy over their own play and they get paid to play, we're seeing, and this is what I said actually back in 2018, is that it wasn't going to be cryptocurrency that disrupted games. It's going to be gaming that disrupts cryptocurrency. When you look at what's happening with NFTs and the amount of excitement going into the metaverse and how those two pieces are converging to change how the consumer experience of entertainment is, it's amazing. And there's, right here in Puerto Rico, a lot of expressions of that. Some really interesting technology being built here.
It is, and you know, it's a budding ecosystem. Of course, we keep talking about it, but this blockchain week is, of course, to showcase it. So it's important that we talk about it. It's important that we help out the local ecosystem here. I don't know how many people I spoke to yesterday who said, "Oh, I'm a local now. I moved here," and I said, "Well, when do you move here?" And they moved here this year.
Yes, I met a few that had been here for a couple of years, and they're like, I've been here for 2 years. They're the veterans, right? You know, I'm not part of the new, but you know, that's the way it is. You know, old wealth, new wealth, a lot of wealth moving to Puerto Rico for the tax architecture. But the real opportunity now is to take advantage of that to build a new economic engine around cryptocurrency. And I'm hearing a lot of projects that I didn't know were being built here that are really exciting. And like yesterday, we were over at the HODL conference, and there were 5 really interesting groups sponsoring that I came away going, okay, I need to pay more attention. There's a lot happening in Puerto Rico. It's not just like in 2018, I was here and we did, you know, well, I don't think it was called blockchain. It was called Restart Week, right? Back then. And there was a little bit of controversy. A few you know, television things happened. But the key thing was, it was during that rebuilding from the hurricane. And now I've seen, after 3 years, it's happening. There is a amazing ecosystem here. There's a lot of really forward-thinking and creative people saying, this is the place I chose to move from Austin, which is the, you know, heartbeat of American innovation right now, to Puerto Rico, because this is a better ecosystem for blockchain. That says something. Those are the types of indicators to me that are bellwether. This is going to be not just wanting to be Miami. This is going to be the next epicenter, I think, for North American blockchain.
Well, it's something really special. And, you know, some of the things that came to my attention last night was if you're traveling out of the U.S. more than 90 days, then the qualifications go down to 91 days that you have to be here.
Yep.
And so that is quite interesting situation.
In order to qualify for both the capital gains tax protection you get, as well as the income tax protection. And both of those are significant in terms of if you've got any kind of upside from crypto. That's why there's, I think, 1,000 people now that have moved here that have significant amounts of capital to and they're looking at how they can impact Puerto Rico. I think that's actually the promise that we were having back in 2018. That's what's happening today.
Yeah, well, and it's so good to see. The crypto community, in my opinion, has always given back a lot to certain projects and certain things in need. So, speaking of a lot going on, we've been crisscrossing the globe a little bit here.
Yep.
And Prasaga. I keep talking about it, and it's enterprise level, government level, out of the box blockchain solutions, and one of those, of course, is Metaverse. But we talk about it, and we're this and that and the other. But there's some exciting things that are happening over the next month or two. So
and I can hint at some of them, and I can tell you about others because there's a lot of things that are happening as we embrace both a decentralized approach to building our ecosystem and create the model for partnering into the enterprise space. And both of those, yes, they're going to be driven by the Swiss Foundation that we are. All of our token offering is happening through Estonia. And I apologize, anybody who's in the United States, we can't sell you tokens. So, till the SEC comes up with a framework that we can be compliant with, there's just no way that we can take the risk that they're going to do a thing where we don't get grandfathered, which they've actually said. We could be, in the future, held accountable to the rules that have not been written yet. So, yeah, can't go there. But anybody who's on any other part of the planet that's not a U.S. resident can participate in what we're doing right now. And it's an exciting piece. We're actually going into testnet, and in that period of time, we're actually selling the medallions, as they were, like a taxi medallion, that allows you to mine both. We're both a proof of work and a proof of stake, so you get rewards from both. And you're able to do that while we're in testnet. And there's going to be a limited number of nodes that'll be up. We're looking at 1,000 nodes and about 8 billion token that's going to have rewards attached to it. So that's going to be a significant opportunity. It does take $100,000 to get actually 4 nodes you get for 100,000. But that actually is the ability to have the not only the rewards that come along with those staking tokens, which is about 50% a reward, gives you about 155 APY on the first month, going down to 55% by the time you reach month 12, and it is a 12-month lock. So anybody who's into getting in early, that is the ground floor opportunity, as it were, and we're doing that with people that are a passion and purpose that really want to see what we're going to build, which is an economy that builds value instead of extracts value, and that's really our core goal.
Well, it's interesting, and I was actually talking about it a little bit before, but these. So a couple of things that actually I would like to take out of the box. One, it's 100K to come in the validator sale. That's what we're calling it, right?
Right.
And for that 100K, you get a certain amount of tokens, and you can then either stake them.
They're one penny
probably want to.
You can do the math.
1 penny, yeah. You can stake them, but you can also mine for another. So it's 4 billion coming out in this test net on. I know 4 billion on the mining and 4 billion on the staking. Is that correct?
No, it'll be 8 billion token.
Okay.
That will be tied to both the proof of work and proof of stake. There's separate rewards for each.
Oh, okay.
But it's the 70%.
So it may not be 50-50, but there's.
Right. No, 70% of the rewards go to the actual proof of work.
Okay.
Because that takes more hardware, and we figure you're going to have more hardware expense to get that. So, over time, that just makes sense to us. And then 30% will go for the staking rewards for the proof of stake. And then that you can run that. Well, can't say on a cell phone, but in a good data center.
It's kind of it's really a crypto guy's play.
Sorry, yeah,
you know what I mean. It really is.
Most of you are thinking blah 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 blah.
You don't really
and
have
you get
to
a bunch of tokens.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. You don't have to participate in the mining. They're going to have some high power guys. Of course, we were meeting some of those over in Dubai recently.
Yeah.
But we are, and I don't think we're supposed to say anything exact. There's nothing exact set. But I can tell you, we're looking at the different agreements right now to list this thing very soon, and the list of different exchanges are the ones you dream about. I mean, those are the ones you want. It's all tier one, top end. And when you look at projects like this, you want to make sure, one, they have good leadership, of course. Two, they have good tech, of course. And three, that they're well funded. And it's one of the most important things. I mean, it's hard to market anything.
Money, and some guys you'd like to work with, right? Those are the challenges. And this is my 12th new venture, so I've been through this a few times. We just left what I call the starve up phase, where we were self-funding it until we felt like we could actually really have the confidence in the tech that it's going to do what we're going to say it's going to do. Matter of fact, I just had a conversation with a group that's like, well, why am I seeing Hyperledger all over your stuff? Well, we actually took a core part of our technology and we prototyped it and built it and launched it on Hyperledger, just so that we could, to ourselves as well as other people, say, yes, it does what our patents say it does.
Right.
And that's really, from having taken other people's money in many other ventures, I never want to lose anybody's money, right? I always want to make sure I can prove a good return for anybody who's going to be a stakeholder. And the thing that's brilliant about tokenization is that we all win. As the token value goes up, the liquidity continues to happen, and we're able to create an ecosystem around this. And that's the part that we're doing in Dubai. We're actually working there to build out what we call our first regional collaborative, and it's the Saga Collab for Dubai. And I'm in the place where I'm able to see the kind of partners for the first time, and I think I might have mentioned this in a previous interview, where they're really not just in it to see what kind of wealth they can create, but what kind of give back they can do and what they can do to make an impact, not just in Dubai, but for the planet. And, it's easy to say that sort of thing. It's very hard when you have to live up to those ideals. And these guys have a track record of doing that. And that's what's so exciting to me, is that we're seeing those types of partners emerge that are, one, seeing a felt need for, I don't want to say this, the next generation of blockchain that makes it easy to build, makes it easy to get to market. You can when we're launched on mainnet, we're going to be able to support lots of different languages you want to program in. It's going to be much more of an adult blockchain. I always say it's like the difference is right now we're in MS-DOS, which some of you will remember, and we're going to Windows. And we're going to be able to do a whole UI. We'll make it easy to be in blockchain. And I think that's going to be the differentiator, both for enterprise and for the consumer.
Yeah, well, it's absolutely huge. And I want to take a couple of things out of the box there for you if you're sitting there listening. Number one is the co-op, the collaborative, the venture studio, as they call it. So the first one, it looks like we are setting up, is in Dubai. And this is, I think they feel, and I agree, a very important place. Dubai has made itself a very important place for technology companies to do business, especially ones in blockchain. They've been trying to get the country on blockchain. These government and enterprise type solutions that we're providing are exactly what they need. But this venture studio, in the situation that we're in the process of setting up over there, will enable different companies to get funding from us and be able to build their tech on the Saga chain, on the Saga chain, on that technology. So that's a very exciting way to bring new technology out and keep this budding system that they have over there in Dubai growing and take advantage of it. Tell us a little bit about that.
I think the two things to unbox what you unboxed, because there's lots of boxes. One is that most people are familiar with accelerator incubators, right? Well, we're going to do that, but we're also doing a hybrid, which a venture studio means that you've got a serial entrepreneur with a full studio suite of services. So your marketing, your HR, your legal, your fractional CFOs, all of the pieces you need as an entrepreneur to be successful, you can actually contract with this studio to get if you qualify, right? So it's kind of like we're going to be funding a lot of entrepreneurs trying to get to the point where they're qualified, but we'll also be taking some of those same best of breed ideas that we know are next in the markets and having a serial entrepreneur in the studio, eating our own dog food, as it were, taking this stuff to market. And the exciting part about Dubai is that they're visualizing themselves as a global hub. They're not trying to just build something that's only in Dubai. When you go to the Expo 2020 right now, you get to see all the pavilions from nations all around the world. There's like 200 and I only got 3 stamps in my passport, and there's 257 or something like that. Or I don't know, something 59, like that. Something like that.
It's 200, over 200.
Over 200, yeah. So I'm not, it's stupid. Everybody goes, don't you know how many? But there were a lot of pavilions, right? And a lot of these countries are showcasing what they do best. Well, what Dubai does best is hosting all these other countries.
Right.
And that's one of the things that's getting why they're an epicenter and why innovation in blockchain is going to be there. Because I'm sorry, I haven't met many entrepreneurs now that are like living in just Silicon Valley or just Austin, Texas. They're wherever they need to be around the planet to do business.
Right.
And Dubai's open for that right now, which is in the COVID days, differentiating them from almost every other country on the planet. I mean, they're really leaning forward into this. And a lot of people are talking about it. I think there's going to be lots of epicenters where we see, everything from Amsterdam to Singapore to Malaysia. There's going to be, we're working in Thailand, Vietnam, Indonesia, and Philippines right now.
Yeah.
And I think those are things where you start to see how the way that blockchain is going to change not only how people make a living, but how much technology gets to impact our quality of life. And it's going to create a new economy. And that's something that gets me really excited.
Yeah. I
think I've been in gaming for 30 years, so I've made a lot of fun. And this is the most fun I've ever had building a blockchain. Honest. This is my jam. I'm probably one of the happiest guys on the planet, and it wasn't because I just spent a week in Disney World. I'm really excited about the team we're getting to pull together, the partners we're getting to bring in, and Bruce being obviously chief among them because he's got my logo. But no, because we're doing this as an ecosystem. And the one thing I want to really emphasize is that we're not a centralized organization. We're a decentralized one. We're trying to inspire this to happen in Dubai by creating the model for it. But we want to do that all over the planet in a way that gets you, as an entrepreneur or as a stakeholder at some level, participating in this new future we want to create. So yeah, I'm enlisting you to join the revolution and be part of this movement, because Prasaga is going to write the story or the saga of this next generation. I am confident that our technology is going to be able to take us to the next level.
Well, it's pretty amazing. And if you look at the team, it's a long line of important people. Of course, David Beaverman is one of them. Yeah. You can Google him and check him out. He's the man behind putting together this big infrastructure that we have. And what it is, I guess we both keep taking stuff out of the box, but I want everybody to understand it, of course.
It's Christmas. We got to keep on that.
So if you, there's actually a video on my Twitter feed, and it talks about the automotive supply chain. Yeah. And it's just from a hackathon or whatever, but that level of, okay, I'm going to give this person the terminal that they're going to input the data, and that is now going to exist on the immutable blockchain as a smart asset and everything else and track everything. It's here. And that's what we're putting out.
It's a whole supply chain running in a browser on the blockchain.
Right.
And everybody's talked about this, but that's one of the things we were able to do when we did our prototype, was we were able to get the tools we needed to show this is how it's going to work.
Right.
And it's always easier when you can see something, right, versus just trying to imagine it. And this really helps you to visualize how a demonstration of how this is going to look. We've talked at a couple of different events, one at the consumer supply chain or the consumer supply chain conference, and then we went to an automotive supply chain event, and some major players, which we're going to be able to announce partnerships with soon, really see the felt need for this as we are dealing with trying to buy a car, right?
Right.
and there isn't a way to get all the parts you need. And this will help solve that.
Yeah, and tracking if you have something that happens to the car, tracking down, okay, what batch did that come from? You know, and tracking it all the way back. So really important stuff. And, you know, when you look at the breakage on stuff like that, it's huge.
Yep.
So
and now it takes months or years to figure out, okay, where's that part? What went wrong? What other cars are in? And what, you know, what's like the metallurgical composition or the specialty chemical composition that is supposed to be certified to say that part meets criteria in order to be in your car.
Yep.
Well, it's very, very difficult. Right now, they go to a big metal filing cabinet and fax that over to people. Literally, they fax that certification over to people. Yeah. That's how unsophisticated the supply chain is right now. Blockchain allows all that to be available and visible through, you know, you've got one VIN number that's a ledger ID, right? And all of the parts are exploded right out of that one number. And that's very much a powerful tool that will help make everything, customs, a lot of things much easier for us to migrate.
Think about vaccines. Think about vaccines. You get a batch of vaccines and you're getting some type of, you know, whatever's happening. So that implication, it's something that we've been talking about since the beginning of time, I feel like, supply chain. This is the best use case, supply chain, one of the best. And here we have it. So we will be in Dubai next week. So anybody that's out there that would like to speak to us, please reach out. Jay Moore is very easy to find. He's on LinkedIn, as well as you can go to persaga.com. Exciting things that we're doing. Look for a launch of the token very soon. It'll be happening.
We'll do a public sale before we launch on the exchanges. So
and on the public sale,
once we get all the
Americans
dates,
will be
we'll
able
let everybody know.
Yeah, Americans will be able to participate. And
once on the exchanges, they'll be but we'll do a public sale that still has to have KYC.
Oh, yeah.
And
you still won't be able to.
But that's not because I don't love the U.S. people. It's just because we still haven't got a regulatory framework I can comply.
It's the way it is.
But here we are in Puerto Rico, and you know, I think one of the things I'm going to walk away with is a new appreciation for why maybe I should live here, you know?
Right?
and or at least have my 91-day residence in Puerto Rico, because I'm definitely on all sides of the planet right now.
Yeah.
But again, you know, I think there's going to be a lot coming out of this. Pay attention to Puerto Rico Blockchain Week, and you know, we've got Coin Agenda coming up. You've got, what's the one later in the week here?
The Limitless with Pedro.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole nother line of speakers that I'm very impressed by.
And I think Coin Agenda will actually, it's probably one of his best ones.
Just looking at the speaker,
just looking at the speaker.
The lineup, it looks like 2018, only better. So.
Puerto Rican Blockchain Week coming to you live here. Jay Moore,
thanks
so much for coming on, man. We'll see you soon.